Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Rob Stark and I'm here today to bring you a video on how to use Nita. Alright, so first off, I just want to give my opinion on Nita. Nita is a very well-rounded brawler that excels in a support role. She is short range, but a fast reload speed and can spawn a bear that can turn the tide of the battle. Overall, she's a great utility brawler that does well on most maps, except ones that don't have many bushes or walls. Okay, so since it's kind of boring to talk about stats, I'm just going to have them up on the side. You guys can take a look at them when you want. You can pause the video. I'll probably only have them up for a few seconds. Okay, but just as far as Nita's elixir usage, honestly, for Nita, it doesn't matter that much. Really, you should just do what you prefer. But in general, I would just kind of upgrade everything fairly evenly. Myself, I upgraded the super more so than everything else, and then the damage and health are really even. Okay, and then I'm going to give some tips on Nita, and I'm going to try and give some timestamps in the description of where those tips are in the video, or just examples of the tips rather, sorry. Alright, so my general strategy with Nita is you kind of want to be passive aggressive with her. I end up tending to stay on the grass or in the edges of the map, and then if someone comes near me or in that area, I hit them 2 or 3 times to try and pressure them to the middle where my teammates might be, or I'm just pushing them back so they can't really do much. But most of the time I'm just trying to focus on chipping enemies to build up my super and then not let them be at full health. And then part of why I say I play her passive aggressive is I like to say Nita sort of plays a game of chicken with her opponents. Often she's constantly running back and forth while shooting, trying to either barely hit someone or get opponents to walk into her shots by pursuing her. If you do get the chance to hit multiple enemies if they group up, definitely take that. You want to try and take angles that allow you to hit multiple enemies whenever possible. Because her attack can't hit multiple enemies, this can often do a lot of damage at once to a group. She does have a fast reload speed too, so you do want to be firing shots often. Sometimes I'll do 2 shots at once if I think I can get the hit, but I wouldn't really recommend doing 3 shots at once. And while Nita is a bit of a short range character, she's not exactly a close combat character like Bull or El Primo or Shelly. She's really best from a sort of medium distance away from enemies. And then as far as using her bear, oftentimes you don't want to use it right away, but you want to wait for a good opportunity to use it. And when you throw Nita's bear, really keep 2 things in mind. You want to try and cut off enemy escape, and or you want to place the bear where it's going to get hits on the enemy. And then I'll go through some of the ways I use her bear too. So one way I do it is I try and pinch an enemy with it. For example, I'll place it behind them so they're forced out of cover and they have to face either me or the bear, or hopefully both. If I'm not going to try and pinch the enemy, one thing I might do is throw it in a grassy area where I think someone might be. The bear is going to reveal their location and then it will push them back, and hopefully you and your teammates can go and kill them while they're trying to kill the bear. Or if I know no one's really near me and I think I can get my super again fairly easily, I might just place it behind me and then follow the bear and end up trying to take an enemy out with the bear. Lastly, another really good way to use the bear, I do this a lot, is if you're 3v3 with the enemy and you kill one of them, so it becomes a 3 versus 2 situation, you throw that bear, all of a sudden it becomes 4 versus 2, and you can really wipe out the enemy team and take control of the map. Also, the bear is really good to hide behind to take shots for you, especially when you have low health. This way you can still push up the map and heal at the same time. And along the lines of the bear, it's definitely important to know which brawlers are good at killing bears and which aren't. You don't really want to throw a bear at someone that's good at killing bears. I mean, you still can, but it'll get less values. So, for example, characters or brawlers that are bad at killing bears are Bo, Poco, Spike, Crow, Mortis, and Jessie. Although Jessie gets bounce shots with the bear, so you do have to be careful with that. Her shots will hit the bear and then bounce to you and your teammates. And then brawlers that are okay at killing bears would be Barley, Dynamite, Brock, and Nita. They're all pretty decent at it, but not amazing. And then brawlers that are really good at killing bears would be El Primo and Bull, although both of them sort of tend to allow the bear to hit them a few times, so that's not so bad as it'll help you build up the super again. And then Colt, Ricochet, Piper, and Shelly are also good at killing bears. Alright, and now I'm going to give some tips for each event type and some good combinations in those event types. So in Smash and Grab is probably Nita's best event type. And for my strategy when using Nita in Smash and Grab, She can grab gems, although often she's best as sort of a suicider type role who goes and gets a lot of shots off and pressures the enemy hard and sort of pushes them back and into your teammates, as I talked about earlier. I generally try not to grab gems with Nita unless I have to, for instance at the end. Also, if you can have your bear up at the end when you get countdown, this almost always secures the win. It's a very good tactic, or you can try and use it to try and get you to 10 if you're at 8, for example, or just, general value. And then some good combos with Nita in Smash and Grab would be with a Shelly, and then a long-range unit such as Colt, Piper, or Ricochet. You can replace the Shelly with something like a Poco or a Jessie, but really Shelly is the best option in my opinion. And then for Bounty, Nita's pretty good in Bounty, but it sort of depends on the map. She's really good in bushy maps, as she can scout the bushes well with either her attack or her super, and she can sneak up on people easier, and she can barrage them with her shots. Similar to Smash and Grab, if you have your bear at the end, it can help you keep the lead. And then as far as compositions, if you're on Snake Prairie or Outlaw Camp, Nita and any close range unit like El Primo, Bull, or Shelly, and then almost any medium or long range unit is going to do pretty well. Just pretty general. And then otherwise, if you're not on those 2 maps for Bounty, I would say Nita and then any long range unit, and then another support unit like Jessie, Poco, or Shelly. And as far as Nita in Heist, she's really not that great in Heist. She's kind of mediocre. She can serve you well. If you're able to get the bear on the safe, it can do a ton of damage and distract the enemy. And this general composition for Heist would be Nita, and then either a Barley or a Dynamite, and then preferably a Colt, because he can break wall with his super, although you can use Ricochet or Brock. Alright, in Showdown, Nita's again okay, but not great. Just try and chip people and get a bear, and then once you have your bear up, you can use it to protect you, and you can follow it around and stay safe behind it. But don't really join up on big group fights or get close to Shelly's, Primos, or Bulls, as if you don't have your bear, you're probably going to die pretty easily. Alright, and now I want to go into some tips for Nita versus every brawler. Okay, so Nita versus El Primo or Bull, it's going to be pretty hard to kill them by yourself, but you can build up your super versus them really easily and get them low for a teammate to kill. Be careful about getting too close while chasing them, but because it does sort of take a little over 8 shots to kill either El Primo or Bull, so it may take you a while. Don't be too aggressive versus them. And then Nita versus Shelly. Shelly's going to outdamage Nita pretty easily, so definitely don't get too close. You really just want to go for pot shots versus her. This is an example where you really want to play that game of chicken that I talked about earlier. You want to do that often with Shelly. Okay, so Nita versus Mortis, there's a couple things for this. You can beat Mortis if you hit your shots, but it's not going to be very easy. You often just want to try and force it to retreat. If you do end up using your bear, you may kill it, but oftentimes it just makes him retreat. When you do place your bear versus an incoming Mortis, you know it's going to attack you or your teammates. Try and place it behind you. You're going to end up backing up, and then the Mortis will walk into you and the bear. And this oftentimes will surprise them and kill them. And then if you're in Smash and Grab and you notice that they have a Mortis before the game even starts, I know not everyone can see this, but if you load fast enough or if you have an iPhone and you can see the Mortis, then try and fire at the second gem that spawns, and you'll usually be able to get a few hits on the Mortis. Okay, then Nita versus Nita, you really just got to play that game of chicken that I was talking about earlier, unless one of you has lower health to start with. Pretty general. And then Nita versus Jessie, if you can get within range, it's usually a pretty easy kill as you do more damage per shot, you have faster reload, and you have faster health. But if they do have a turret up, you may have to retreat. And then Nita versus Poco, usually you should win this, unless the Poco uses his super, in which case you usually have to retreat, but that's fine if that just built up your super and made him use his. Okay, the Nita versus Bo, if you can get in range, you can win this, but it will take you a good amount of shots. Just be careful not to run into any mines, and don't be too aggressive while chasing Bo. And then Nita versus Barley and Dynamite. If you are able to get in range, they're usually pretty easy kills, unless they use their super right as you get close. I would definitely beware approaching out in the open if they have their super, and you can't get to them fastly. Alright, and then Nita versus Colt, Ricochet, and Brock. You really got to approach these guys through cover since they outrange you. If you are out in the open, zigzag to try and avoid their shots. And especially don't run in a straight line towards them, as that'll make it you easy to hit unless you're about to kill them. If you can get up close to them though, they are pretty easy to kill. And definitely be careful if you see they're about to use their super, and you can tell this when they have that yellow ring around them. You won't be prepared to run away then. If it's Colt or Ricochet, run sideways to avoid their super. If it's versus Brock, you kind of just have to guess where he's aiming and run away from that. Alright, and then Nita versus Spike. You're usually able to win this as you can do more damage, health, and you have faster reload. But if he has his super, you got to be careful and don't chase him too far. And then Nita versus Crow. If you can get Crow within range, it's usually a fairly easy kill, except that Crow can super away. So don't over pursue versus Crow because he does run faster and his super will take him away pretty easily. And then versus Piper, it's sort of similar. You can kill Piper if you can get within range or at least force her super. Don't be too aggressive. If you can sneak up on Piper, you can kill Piper. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. If you want to see my video on how to use Shelly, there's a link in the description and on the video. Hope you enjoyed and see you next time.